What is up, suppers? It is Dibes, Mr. Crockpot on Twitter. Welcome to the Suit Up Podcast. The Suit Up Pod can be found on iTunes and Spotify. Smash that subscribe button, guys, if you guys are watching us here on YouTube. We have special guests today and my man Loretto. Today we are reacting to the first two rounds of our comic book movie draft. Guys, are you ready to suit up?
Let's suit up.
Let's
suit up.
I am Iron Man.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
I want you to remember the one man who beat you.
The Force will be with you, always.
A king's time as ruler rises and falls like the sun.
I could do this all day. What's but a smile on that face?
That's my secret, Captain. I'm always angry.
Some men just want to watch the world burn.
All right, guys, we are back. Today we are reacting to the first round and the Elite Eight of our comic book movie draft. Joining me today is, of course, our co-host. He is Loretto of Movies Matrix. Follow him on Twitter at Marcellus Durden. What up, Lo?
How you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. Good to have you. The t-shirt game is on point once again. God, and the guns are out, man. Sun's out, I guess?
Hey, man, that California sun, it was beating on me today, so.
Love it. All right, so we've got some special guests here today. You know him as Bat Nipples. Follow him on Twitter at Just Ryan again. How you doing, man? Tell the viewers a little.
Yo, what's going on? I got the Bat Nipple cult in my back pocket right here. They all bow down to the holy Bat Nipples. All the Bat Nipples. What's going on, guys? Happy to be here.
Thanks for joining. And then we have another special guest. Please follow my man Gabe on Twitter at A Film Opinionitis. How you doing, Gabe?
Hey, good. Happy to be here. I'm the only one that's not wearing a cool t-shirt, I believe, but you know, that's what I got. So I'm ready for that.
All right.
Well, you're wearing a polo, so polos are cool.
Yeah. I'm still wearing the same thing from work. So it's not cool. It's not cool at all, dude. All right. Let's talk about our comic book.
Good for us.
Let's talk about the first round of the comic book movie draft. I'm going to share, and we're just going to quick react. Did the fans get it right? Did the fans get it wrong? And we're going to obviously move into the Elite Eight and kind of make our predictions for the championship round. I'm going to share my screen here, and we're just going to shoot the shit a little bit. 1 second. All right. So in the first round, we had my man Coyle. Everyone can see this, right? I assume. All right, we're good.
Yeah.
First round, we had Team Coyle. He had Spider-Man Far From Home, V for Vendetta, Sin City, Iron Man Kick-Ass versus Team Chad, Thor Ragnarok, Deadpool, Blade 2, X-Men First Class, Kingsman. Chad won with 63% of the votes. If I had to rate these teams, I had Team Coyle at a B-. I gave Spider-Man Far From Home an 8.5, V for Vendetta 8.5, Sin City 8, but I bumped it down to a 7 because I thought that was a little bit of a reach. I had Iron Man at 8, but I bumped that to a 9, and then Kick-Ass at an 8. Team Chad, Thor Ragnarok 9, great. Deadpool 8, Blade 2 8, X-Men First Class 9, and then Kingsman I thought was like one of my favorite picks of that last round. I bumped that up to a 9. So overall, I had Team Chad just a little bit over Team Coyle. And I thought 63% was a little much. I thought this could have been a little bit closer. What was your quick take on this one, Loretta?
I think Coyle had a really good but really personal team, especially like feeling like what people like on Twitter, what people like on the internet. I feel like some of those are good movies, but a little bit on the lesser known or lesser seen side, especially if you look at Kick-Ass and Sin City's box office numbers. Great films, but I think in terms of popularity, because really if we're doing this, it's a little bit of a popularity contest, and I think that's where his team was lacking. I think the fans got it right.
What about you, Bat Nipples?
I completely agree. Spider-Man Far From Home is obviously a pretty strong pick for anyone. This is definitely more of a personal list than Chad's team was. Chad was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm going for the fans. He got the fans. He obviously got the fans. Even I would say V for Vendetta, Sin City, and Kick-Ass, well, lesser known films. V for Vendetta recently just got like a pretty big upkey, I'd say, from fans more recently. A lot more people have been talking about it nowadays. Sin City was never extremely popular, I'd say, as a movie, more so as a comic. And Kick-Ass fucking loved the film, and the second one are personal favorites of mine. But not a lot of people know about them, sadly, which they should. You guys should definitely check it out if you haven't. Chad has got Thor Ragnarok, one of the best MCU films for me personally. Deadpool's fantastic. Blade 2, asshole stole that from me. That was fantastic. X-Men First Class is really good, and then Kingsman is outstanding. So I have to go with the audience. Team Chad is definitely more all the way for me.
Go ahead, Gabe.
I think both are really solid, and like kind of like hanging on what you said about lesser known films. I don't know if they're lesser known as much as they're older, like simply older, like V for Vendetta, Sin City. They're like early 2000s, you know, and so is Kick-Ass as far as I remember. So just making them older, like, you know, people remember Spider-Man from Far From Home better, but like the rest, a lot of people might have been like, what the hell is up with these? Which might be a problem for my list too, because I have a history of violence, a pretty old movie too from around that same era. And like I told Chad, because I went up against him in the next round, like his films are solid. Like they're except for Blade 2, which I have not seen. They're all I really like all of them. So it was a hard one, and I agree it shouldn't have been 63%. It's not like it should have been like 60. Like 55% or something. I don't know. It just seems too high for the quality of films that Cole had.
Same boat, dude. I'm in that I thought a 55-45 would definitely been more fair. I really love V for Vendetta. I really like Iron Man. That was a great selection in the fourth round. And you know, Kick-Ass is a great film. So I think the fans got it right. I think everyone is in agreement here. The fans got it right. Let's move on to the next matchup. All right. Can everyone see that? Let me double check. This was absolutely hilarious. We have Team Todd going up versus Team Leo. Team Todd had Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse, Guardians, The Avengers, the original OG Superman, and Men in Black versus Team Leo, who had Spider-Man 2, The Incredibles, Scott Pilgrim, Shazam, Alita, Battle Angel. All right. So, I mean, obviously I give Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse a 10. But I take that down to an 8 because he took that right before me in the first round, and that was my lock pick. I was going straight for Spider-Verse. Guardians of the Galaxy 9, Avengers 9. I'm going to move that to a 10 pick because that was such a revolutionary movie in the third round. Amazing value. Superman 8.5, Men in Black 8.5, turning that to a 9. Another amazing value in that last round. Then you look at Leo. Spider-Man 2, 9, amazing pick. Incredibles 10. I'm going to move that down to an 8 because Leo, like Todd, stole that from me one pick away. I could have had The Incredibles and Into the Spider-Verse. I was 2 picks away from having that. Scott Pilgrim, 9. Shazam, 8.5. Alita, Battle Angel, I have never seen. But this was the storyline of the first round. Team, what was it? Team Alita? What?
Alita
Army. Alita Army.
Hashtag Alita Army. What happened, Lo?
WTF, guys. Shout out to my boy Leo. Leo's the homie, and I don't want to start a debate right now, but in my opinion, I love Spider-Man. Spider-Man 2 is my favorite Spider-Man film. I think that's strong. Incredibles is one of the best superhero depictions ever. Like, toss out Marvel, DC. This is a Pixar movie, but they got it right. They captured the superhero genre perfectly and gave it a fresh twist. Scott Pilgrim is amazing. He stole that from me. I wanted Scott Pilgrim on my team. But ultimately, I wasn't a huge fan of Shazam, and I liked Alita. I thought Alita was fun, but compared to Todd's team, I thought Todd had the more consistent team. Especially, I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy, Spider-Verse, Avengers, and even the Men in Black. I mean, I have strong, like, nostalgic, happy memories of all of those films, and I've rewatched all those films countless times. The Alita Army came out strong. What can we say, man? Carried Leo to victory for the upset, but I was leaning towards Team Todd here.
It only makes sense that Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Verse went at it in the first round. Pretty hilarious. Go ahead, Ryan. Or sorry, Bat Nibble.
So
It
Spider
never
Verse,
ends.
9 out of 10 for me, straight up banger. Guardians, 9 out of 10, straight up banger. Avengers over the years has gone down a little bit. I'd give it an 8 still. Superman, Donner cut 8, solid. Men in Black, solid 8. This is when we start getting a little controversial here, so hold on to your chairs. Spider-Man 2, hot 7.5. The Incredibles, 8.5. Scott Pilgrim, straight 9. Shazam, I'd give an 8, but I've never seen Alita Battle Angel. Me and Chris were actually talking about this.
Yeah.
Might give that a watch soon because they just put it on HBO Max and Hulu, you guys, so go check that shit out. But at the end of the day, I definitely think Todd has the stronger, more consistent pick. And I just so happily love all those movies. And Leo's team is more of a up and down for me, as you guys can see. Spider-Man 2 and Incredibles a little bit here and there. But yeah, I thought Todd was definitely going to win. And then the Alita army just came out of nowhere and just said, nah, fuck you. So, yeah, I'm sorry, Todd. I voted for you, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I think here, like, people only saw 2 films. Like, they either saw, like, on Todd's team, they saw Spider-Verse, and on Leo's draft, they only saw Alita. And, like you're saying, Alita Army. So, having seen Alita, I can say it is not a movie that I enjoyed at all. It was especially heartbreaking for me because I'm a huge fan of James Cameron, as I hope most of you are. And I'm also a huge fan of Robert Rodriguez, who directed it. And he is fantastic. I love his films. I love Desperado. Like, he has a style, and he goes all in. I love Machete. You know, he has a way of doing films. Like, they're extremely violent, somewhat funny. You know, it's just he's the only one that's making those kinds of films so well, or he was before, I guess. So seeing those 2 people come up with a movie like Alita, I don't know, for me it was just insane. And for some reason, some people really like it, and I feel like, you know, in that sense, just the people that like Alita really love it, so they're gonna vote for any group of films as long as it has Alita in them. And I feel like that's what happened, because it's like look at Todd's draft. Like, he has classic films, like objective classics, like Superman 78. My God, you know, your grandpa's favorite movie. And then, like, Men in Black. You know, like, you know, the classic films. Like, I love all of them except for Spider-Verse. But you know, Alita Army. It's
Let it go, Ryan.
I mean,
Let it go, Bat
It's
Nipple.
very crazy. It's very crazy.
All right. Did the fans get it right? Absolutely not. Quick answer.
No.
Go ahead, Lo.
No.
Lo?
Nope.
Ryan.
Hell no.
All right. Moving on.
But we love Leo. Just clarifying, we love Leo and we support.
We just don't like his picks.
I mean, Alita. My God. I would say go watch Alita, but don't. Like, anyway.
All right. So, yeah, and the draft, the first round of the draft just got more and more interesting here, especially with this one, because we have Team AJ. He has The Dark Knight Returns Part 2, X-Men Days of Future Past, Snowpiercer, Black Panther, and Joker. And I can't wait to hear Ryan and Gabe's takes on those movies. And then we had Team Sean. I mean, Sean didn't even show up. But yeah, you kind of voted for him. Man of Steel, Watchmen, Justice League, Aquaman, and Doctor Strange. And my first take on this, when you like, how in the world did Team AJ only win with 62% of the vote? I mean, I love AJ's picks. That when we did our post game show, Team AJ was my favorite favorite team in this draft. What was your quick take, Loretta?
So I gotta say, man, I mean, nothing against Sean. He practically auto-picked. We picked for him. But AJ really put together a sneaky team, especially where he got these films. Like, getting Black Panther, a Best Picture nominee, a groundbreaking film in the 4th round, getting Joker in the final round. Like, I personally wasn't on the Joker hype train, but I know a lot of people love it. And I think the balance of his films are really strong. Snowpiercer's excellent. I didn't even know it was a graphic novel. I saw it as more of like a Bong Joon-ho movie. But Snowpiercer is excellent. I really like the dystopian future there. Days of Future Past is one of my favorite X-Men films, and between that and next two, there's not many X-Men films that really got it right, but that was one of them. Dark Knight Returns I haven't seen, but from what I've seen recently with DC Animation, I'm sure it's incredible. I know Dives could probably vouch for it. Looking at Sean's team, I wanted Man of Steel. That was my target in the second round, either that or Batman Begins, but neither of those made it back to me. I like Aquaman and Doctor Strange a lot more than others, but I mean, Sean didn't have a fighting chance. So, I mean, I'm surprised this wasn't like 80-20, or even, like, to be generous, like 70-30%. But AJ got the win, so I think that's all that matters.
Doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Go ahead, Matt Nichols.
So I'm hit y'all with some more hot takes. The Dark Knight Returns Part 2. I actually watched this recently, not decently. Like right before we did the huge podcast. It was good. I didn't think it was exceptional. I didn't think it was anything groundbreaking, but I thought it was a good film. I'm sorry, Lo, but X-Men Days of Futures Past is fine. I don't think it's fantastic. I don't think it's great. I think it's good. I find it watchable. Snowpiercer, awesome. Love the film. Black Panther and Joker, overrated as shit. I'm sorry. I definitely, I'm not the biggest fan of AJ's list, but AJ got the masses with this one. The Joker hype train, Black Panther train, Days of Futures Past train, and Snowpiercer has become so much more relevant since since his win for Best Picture with Parasite. So that film definitely boosted a lot. And then we go to Sean's team. We're all shocked that Sean got a decent amount of picks and votes. I was looking at the list when I'm like, wait, what the fuck? People are voting for Sean? Wait, what? I had a huge brain fart moment with Man of Steel, obviously, because I tried picking it and not realizing it. We gave it to Sean. Man of Steel is great. Watchmen is fine. Justice League is just hot garbage. We all know this. Aquaman, I don't like it as much as other people do. I think it's good. It's a rewatchable film. Jason Momoa is fantastic. Doctor Strange is great, especially on drugs, obviously, because it's one of the trippiest films of all time. Honestly, it's not the worst pick in the world. Let's get real. They've got some bangers like Man of Steel, Doctor Strange, and that's really much it. Aquaman and Watchmen are rewatchable, but it's for people that just kind of just gave him random crap. I think it's a decent list. It's not the worst list that we could have given him, but I thought we were going to give him a really bad list. But obviously AJ is going to win with this one. He's just got the more consistent list. We didn't pick it for him because, you know, he was there. But yeah, that's my thing.
Go ahead, Gabe.
All right. I'll try to make this brief, but AJ's list. Okay. Dark Knight Returns, I haven't seen. I'm sure it's great. I don't know. Days of Future Past is very good. I love that movie. I think it's the Avengers of the Fox formerly Fox controlled properties, Marvel properties, right? Snowpiercer, of course, is fantastic, but it probably has the same issue as V for Vendetta or all those movies, that they're, you know, smaller and older. Black Panther, I mean, it has a lot of fans. I don't really like that much. I think it's okay, but I'm not the biggest fan. And Joker, I mean, I'll try to avoid going off on Joker for 10 minutes like I did before we started taping this. So I'll just say that it is not a good movie, and it is heavily overrated. So in that sense, what I'm saying about AJ's list, it just seems like it's kind of like hit or miss mostly. Like there's some good things, there's some bad things. But my God, Sean's list, it's like he either has like divisive movies, mediocre movies, or just bad movies. Like that's what he has. Like Man of Steel and Watchmen, you know, the Zack Snyder fest there, like they're divisive. Like let's just be objective there, right? Like not everybody loves them. Some people do. I know I like them. I don't think they're the best. Justice League is mediocre, as is Doctor Strange. Like they're just okay. I think Justice League is more bad than mediocre. And Aquaman, Aquaman is really bad. My God. So yeah, his list. And there's something about his list because he has half of his list is DCEU movies. Like he has all the DCEU in there. I don't know if you even noticed that we were doing that when we were. It seems like it's a good list, but then when you think about it, it isn't. Right? It's just, so I'm surprised they got 37%. I'm very surprised.
All right, let's keep. Oh, by the way, did the fans get this one right? Yes. How about you, Lo?
Yeah, I would say so.
Bat Nibbles.
Yeah.
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 No enthusiasm.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
all right. Now we gotta
Here we
hot
go,
one to
dude.
talk about.
All right, so now we get to the first interesting part of this podcast. I'm glad you guys are joining because this makes it so much more interesting. All right, so we had Team Ryan versus Team Dibes. That's me. Team Ryan had Avengers Endgame, Spider-Man Homecoming, Flashpoint Paradox. Respect for going Flashpoint Paradox. Blade and Dread 2012. I rolled with Logan, Batman Begins, Wonder Woman, Hellboy 2, The Golden Army, and Batman Mask of the Phantasm. I was shocked. That's Batman Mask of the Phantasm. We just did a podcast on that. That's one of my favorite origin Batman movies of all time. Loretto, you just saw that, right? Like, what would you give that movie out of 10?
A solid 8.5.
All right. So, no joke. I think this one was pretty even. I took the W. I got 53% of the votes. I loved Ryan's squad. Obviously, has two bangers in Endgame and Homecoming. I love the Blade pick. But man, Logan, Batman Begins, Wonder Woman, Hellboy 2, Guillermo del Toro, and one of my favorite animated Batman movies of all time. I'm okay with it. What about you, Loretto?
Man, honestly, this matchup, I think, out of the first round, this is probably one of the more closer ones, I thought. Like, on paper, I thought Todd and AJ's kind of were, like, shoo-ins. But you guys really duked it out, man. I mean, Endgame is, like, the highest-grossing film. It broke ground. It's obviously, like, it drove, has tons of fans. I love Homecoming. I wasn't crazy about Far From Home, but I loved Homecoming. I've heard great things about Flashpoint. Haven't seen it. I heard it's really good. But my thing is, I think Ryan's team hit the same problem that Coyle had. Because Blade is great. It's not as good as Blade 2, in my opinion, but I think the Dread pick, as cool as it may have been, or I haven't seen that one actually, but I heard it's a lot better than people give it credit for. But again, it's one of those movies that doesn't have a strong following, I think. And overall, I think Dives, you had a more complete squad in general. I mean, you got the Guillermo del Toro, like the film artistic side of it. You got the DC side with Logan and Batman Begins and Wonder Woman. And Logan obviously is like something of its own, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh crap! Hold on, someone's calling me. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, go ahead.
Nah, so honestly, I think me and you had the most like consistent battle. I was watching our thing for like our poll for like the first day, and me and you just kept going like back and forth, and it oh god, we lost him. No, but yeah, I completely agree with Loretto. Actually, towards the final two rounds, it started getting really hard, especially when we all forgot about Joker. I'm sure if one of us remembered, except the AJ, I'm sure one of us really would have picked in the last few rounds at least. I knew when I was picking Dread, I definitely knew I was going with the minority choice there. I didn't expect a lot of people to see that, but I was really hoping that there'd be a Blade bandwagon because Blade 2 is phenomenal, and I think the first Blade's phenomenal as well. But I think the Dread pick really brought me down, especially when you've got Logan, Batman Begins, and Wonder Woman, and Mask of the Phantasm. Personally, not the biggest fan of Wonder Woman. Wasn't the biggest fan of Hellboy 2, and I've not seen Mask of the Phantasm. I know, shoot me. But if I had to rank them all, Endgame, I'd give a 9. Homecoming, I'd give a 9. Paradox, I'd give a 9. Blade, I'd give an 8. And Dread, I'd maybe give a 7.5 and 8. Logan, a 9. Batman Begins, an 8. Wonder Woman, a 7. Hellboy, 7. And then Phantasm is like unknown.
Wait, I have a question though. What would you pick movies that you consider to be 9s? Like, shouldn't you have picked 10s?
Yeah, because everyone fucking chose them already. Everyone chose them already.
Hey,
Okay,
can I
then.
just say something? I think
Yeah.
a lot of things, especially for people that didn't see the draft, this was like really hard to be put on the spot and quote unquote put on a clock, like pick a movie. And especially when you have movies that you wanted to pick and they're taken from you, it's a whole different kind of pressure cooker. And as a loyal TMNT fan, I am like disgraced because I didn't even think to pick Ninja Turtles for any of my picks. I wish I could have
No.
gone back, but being on the clock like that, being on the spot was really tough.
Wait, was Ninja Turtles a comic first? I thought it was
Yeah.
toy line
Yeah, it was
first.
a comic, man. It was a comic.
I hate that I didn't
okay.
pick at least one of their movies. It killed me.
Yeah.
Dude, the problem was there were so many different picks, and it was so like I was trying to keep a list on my laptop of all the ones we picked, and when we had like a little intermission to like really get our final picks going, dude, I was looking through the list. I'm like, holy shit, I don't know what to pick because I still don't know what's left.
Yeah.
it was
That's what
still
makes it
really
fun,
hard. I'm like, oh my god, and then I thought I looked up on Google. I'm like, comic book movie.
No, this is so.
just like fuck.
Okay, right. This is what I did. So, like, this is a tip for next time because it worked pretty well for me because I was really happy with my picks. I had a list of like 20 movies that I wanted to pick, right?
Yeah.
So, whenever somebody picked one of the ones that I had on my list, I'd just cross it out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I still had like, 19, 18, whatever. I mean, that worked for me, but I don't, whatever.
All right, Gabe, what was your quick thoughts on this matchup?
All right. I really like both of you, Ryan. I like really, really like you. I just want to say that before I destroy your picks.
Yes.
Like just friendships stay. After this, right? So,
Sure.
Maybe. No, it's good.
Sure.
All right. Ryan, you picked two great movies. The first two, and then the other three I haven't even seen. And I haven't seen Blade or Blade 2 intentionally because it just seems like it's like one of those early 2000s techno action sequence movies.
Fuck yeah.
And I don't want to see that. I just I saw enough of that when I lived through it. So, Flashpoint Paradox, I'm sure it's great. Dread I haven't seen. So, I mean, you picked two great movies, but the others are I haven't seen them. So, and then your picks, Chris. Okay, Logan is great. Batman Begins. You took down one for me that I would have picked that one. That was on the top of my list. The other three, okay. Wonder Woman, it's fine. It's okay. Hellboy, I haven't even seen it. I don't care. And then Batman Mask of Phantasm. I remember watching it when I was a kid, and I remember being extremely bored by it. Like it's a boring movie.
It's adult animated film.
It's such a boring movie. And I have a VHS downstairs, and I was just like always like, this is a Batman movie. I'm supposed to like this. It was like one of those moments when you're a kid and you realize that you can not like things. When you're a kid, you like everything. You're like, oh yes, I love that movie. And then I had that moment when I was just like, why do I hate this Batman movie? Like, what is this? Like, no. So I cannot defend Mask of Phantasm. I'm sorry. So I mean,
who would you choose?
Remember. I between the two of you, I would pick Chris's because
Fuck!
Yes, yeah.
You just went off on him.
He has two really, really great movies that, in my opinion, transcend the genre, and that's Logan and Batman Begins. They go way beyond the limitations of a comic book movie. Like, again, I would never say anything bad about Endgame or Homecoming, but they are just comic book movies. And I think Logan and Batman Begins just take what you have, like the source material, and just bring it to a whole new level. And I think they work so well. And I'm pretty sure I voted for Chris or Ryan. I don't want to say.
Oh wow! One of the two options you voted to.
Definitely one of the two.
Wow.
Go ahead, Lo.
Hey, real quick, because I'm sorry, I got a call, totally messed up my video. But real quick, I think overall it was a pretty epic matchup in terms of popularity, but I think Dives had a more complete team. I would say that I would take it. Yeah. But I will say, Gabe, I know it probably doesn't interest you, but I think the Hellboy series is worth a look, man. I don't know if you're a Guillermo del Toro fan, but like the creature work Like the creature work and the character work is worth seeing. Like it's very well acted, very like I wouldn't say it transcends the genre the way the films that you enjoy do, but I think it's worth watching. And Mask of Phantasm, I'd like Dodge was saying, man, there's not a lot of action, which surprised me when I rewatched it, but I was engaged with the drama because I grew up in the series, and being an adult now, I was able to understand it. But at the same time, I do kind of see what you're saying. Like, not a lot happened, but I was invested in it. So I think that's the difference with the people that love it or not. So,
All right.
Yeah, fair enough. I just want to say regarding Hellboy, I watched the new one and it was really bad. Right?
Dude, it was
we
awful,
can agree on that,
which is
one,
why
right?
it's fantastic.
don't compare that one to.
They're not
you should
related.
totally compare them.
They're not
You
related.
should totally compare them.
I was like,
Fair enough.
That's not fair.
Del Toro.
So-
Del Toro took so much work and love from Pan's Labyrinth and just put it right into Hellboy 2. It was amazing.
And real quick, I don't want to go too long, but he really developed the relationship, especially between Hellboy and his surrogate father. I think that alone is really worth watching.
I don't like his girlfriend in the film. I just could never stand her. No matter how many times I rewatched the first one or the sequel, dude, she's unbearable. I'm sorry. She really brings it down for me. But you know what? Ron Perlman said he'd come back for a third one if Guillermo I can't talk to it. Guillermo the Del Toro decided to come back for it. Dude, I'd be down for a third one. And okay, I'm gonna give the 2019 version a little bit the benefit of the doubt because what's his name wasn't a bad Hellboy. I thought he was pretty good. David Harbour did a pretty decent job as a Hellboy. If he had a good script and like the whole movie wasn't fucked by a CGI screen, I think it would have been good.
The CGI was the least of its problem. It was incoherent. It was hard to follow.
The
what the hell was that movie? Like, what was it about? Like,
if I told you the first two were just like that, would you change your team pick to mine?
Okay, no.
Fuck.
Let's keep this rolling, guys. Let's keep.
Yes. Sorry. Yeah.
Right.
We'll talk about Del Toro later. Yeah.
I'm not going to say the fans got it right. I just wanted last comment I will say is like this list of 5 movies here is me on a silver platter. Like that is exactly what I'm all about. What about you, Lo? Did the fans get it right or wrong?
Oh, they got it right 100%. You actually stole 2 of my picks, so.
This is where I seek myself out. Thank you very much.
we're proud of you, Ryan. We're proud of you.
We love you, Ryan.
You get your
batting
participation award.
Makes me feel better.
All right. What about you, Ryan? Did the fans get it right?
Yeah.
You know what? Just because I know all 3 of you are gonna say yeah, I'm gonna say no.
Love it.
Because I already know all 3 of you are gonna say yeah. I got to be the odd one out. Yeah, no, sorry, they got it wrong.
All right. So
yeah, see Blade.
That was pretty much the end of the first round. So what we're gonna do here?
Wow.
All right. So what we're gonna do now is load up the Elite 8. Give me 1 second here.
You got this.
All right. While you do that, can I have a rant about Guillermo del Toro?
No.
Okay.
Here we go. All right. Go ahead, Gabe. Real quick. All right.
No. Let's do this, and I'll do that some other time because it might take me longer than
It will definitely take you a long time. I can almost
let's wait post show. Let's
exactly.
finish
Post show. Exactly.
All right. Can everyone see? We have the guy with the number 1 pick, starting of the lead 8. Team Gabe had The Dark Knight, which I give a 10. X-Men 2, 9. I bumped that to a 9.5 for me. Such an amazing film. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, I gave that an 8. Then I bumped it to a 9. It's such an underrated MCU flick. Deadpool 2 is mediocre to me. I think it's just very average. A lot of rehash in that one. History of Violence, I really enjoyed that pick. I give that like an 8.5. So I gave you like a solid B+ in your draft. And then we had Team Chad, Thor Ragnarok, Deadpool, Blade 2, X-Men First Class, and Kingsman. We already kind of talked about that. But Team Gabe took the W, 67.4%. Dude, your top 3, Gabe, are so freaking strong. I think maybe Chad's team is a little more well-balanced than your squad. That's just my opinion. What about you, Lo?
I don't know if anybody plays fantasy sports, but like The Dark Knight is comparable to like a LeBron James or like a Christian McCaffrey. Like there's a benefit to having like arguably the best movie on the board. And I think that's showing here. Nothing against Chad's team. I mean, Chad has a pretty decent team in my opinion. I mean, I like a lot of movies on his team, but like Dives was saying, between X2, Guardians 2, which I'm not gonna lie, I'm a father, and that movie hit me in ways that I didn't think a Marvel movie could. So that really connected with me. And The Dark Knight, I mean, what more can be said that hasn't already been said? I mean, Christopher Nolan did something we've never seen before, and really changed how audiences, mainstream audiences at least, view comic book movies. It's a strong film, and I think those three alone, like Dobbs was saying, is carrying them. They definitely got it right there.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Dark Knight, straight banger, 9 out of 10. Don't ever hesitate with it, people. X2,
But you
another
give
straight
everything
banger.
9 out of 10. What's
No,
your 10
I
out of 10?
don't.
Just out of curiosity.
X2 is an 8 out of 10. Stop. X2 is an 8 out of 10. Bro, you
you
spoke up
refuse to
way
give
too
another
soon
10.
because Guardians 2 is a straight 4 out of 10. Get out of here.
Oh,
Deadpool 2 is a straight 7 out of 10. And I've never seen History of Violence. So, and then Thor, I've already read Thor Ragnarok and all that. But yeah, so I think you got a solid first two picks, and then Deadpool 2 is a solid pick for me. History of Violence can't really tell you because I've never seen it, like I said.
Came out before you were born.
Yeah, shut up. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I feel like it's higher for you guys because you guys relate much more than I could to it, which is, I think, the biggest thing for you guys, at least looking at this film. I enjoyed the performances. I thought cast was fantastic, great interactions. I just didn't really care about the story too much. I thought it was much slower than the first one. I think this one is more of a resonant film within the person. Like Chris and Lo, you're both fathers. I don't know if you are, Gabe, but I feel like you guys can relate a lot more to it, and you get more of the attachment, which I completely get. And I understand why a lot of people like this film, but it just didn't do much for me. But I feel like Chad's list just had straight up more bangers and is well more balanced than Gabe's team. So I'm going to say I'm Team Chad on this one.
All right, go ahead, Gabe.
I mean, I can define mine. I would say that, like, I think mine is really good. Two things bother me. One is that 4 out of 5 are sequels, which it feels odd. Although I feel like in the comic book genre, usually sequels give an opportunity to expand, and they don't need to waste time in establishing characters. And I think, especially the first two, The Dark Knight and to establishment of characters out of the way, they just went all in with like what we're going to say about these characters. I think that's why those two work so well, and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 too. And my second problem with it is Deadpool 2. I think I would have preferred to pick something else, but you had picked everything else that I wanted. But I mean, I think, thinking about it again, another movie that nobody picked that I really like, but I don't know how much everybody else likes, is the first Thor. I love that movie.
Totally.
Yeah, it's Shakespearean in a way that you haven't seen in any other comic book movies, and you know, the fact that it doesn't feel stupid with combining Asgard with some town in New Mexico, right? Is it New Mexico? I think it's New Mexico.
Yeah, New Mexico.
Right. Yeah, like it doesn't feel silly, like the combination of tones, and it works so well with all the brother drama. I think I could have picked that one. So, but not to say I don't like Deadpool 2. And I already said what I thought about Chad's pick. I think it's good. I just haven't seen Blade 2. So,
I'm gonna just piggyback on off of what everyone said. Yeah, Ryan, you are 100% right. As being a first-time father, I've got an 11-month-old daughter. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is a movie that really kind of got better over time, and kind of in the same light. What was it? Sorry, what were we talking about?
Guardians Volume 2.
Guardians Volume 2 is just a movie that just continued to get better and better over time, and you just can't get off that top 3. I think the fans got this one right. What about you, though?
Oh, I 100% agree. And just to put a stamp on it, I don't want to go too long, but I would also say I was with you, Ryan. I wasn't crazy about Volume 2 the first time I saw it, but after rewatching it, I think one reason why I relate to Star-Lord so much and his family of Guardians is I grew up in a broken home. So that like band of misfits and like him not having his mother, not having a real father up until that moment, like all of that spoke to me, and that's why that movie to me is not. It's more than just superheroes and jokes. Coming from a broken family, man, that spoke to me. So.
Well said.
Yeah, no, I just real quick, I just want to say that, yeah, I think the first time I watched Volume 2, I was also somewhat underwhelmed because I feel like it doesn't have a lot of action. I don't know if you guys felt that, but it doesn't have a lot of action as opposed to other MCU movies. But the character work, like, yeah, fatherhood, sure, but there's also a lot of like sisters. And there, you know,
It's a lot of
and
family-based things.
Totally.
yeah, or like to me the most
Beyond doing Rocky
relatable.
for Keaton, you know, it's just so good.
Yeah, and like to me the most relatable. I don't know if that makes me an asshole, but it was Rocket's arc because he, you know,
Yeah.
he's an asshole to everybody, and by the end he realizes, you know, it's a self-defense mechanism. You know, it's because of all he's gone through, like that conversation that he has with Yondu, like, you know, like because we're the same, you and I, we treat people like shit because we feel like shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel
Yeah.
like that was beautiful. And the movie closes, like if you rewatch it, the last shot of the movie is Rocket crying, like realizing, you know, like that he could be better. And
It's a very relatable film. I feel like that's where a lot of people resonate with it, is how relatable it is. That's what I think, at least.
All right.
Yeah, I think the fans got it right. I totally missed the question. Fans got it right.
I'm Mary Poppins.
Yeah.
Fans got it right.
Mary motherfucking Poppins, y'all.
Agreed.
All right, let's
Ryan, did fans get it right, Ryan?
No.
Okay. All right,
moving on.
I'm going against all of you.
Moving on, guys. We have
He's like moving on.
we have Team Isaac, which was hands down my favorite blooper of the draft. Was when I called Isaac Squad at Pixar Nude Studio instead of Pixar Nerd Studio. I don't know if anyone picked that up.
Nude Studio.
I called him Pixar Nude Studio. It was awesome, and I caught myself. I think a couple people caught it, but it was awesome. All right, so
doesn't it sound more interesting to have a Pixar Nude Studio?
Yeah,
obviously.
Nerd Studio?
Obviously.
Like naked cars, naked beer from Inside Out. Anyway.
Batman 89, I gave him a 9. We're talking about Team Isaac. I bumped that to a 9.5 for being ballsy, taking Keaton's Batman in the first round. Spider-Man, I gave him a 9, but then I bumped it to an 8. I honestly think this is not a movie that aged well. I think he could have got this later on. Not the best value. Captain America Civil War, I give him a 9. Incredibles 2, 9. And then Spider-Man 3, 6. Did not enjoy that. So I gave his squad a solid B-. We already talked about Leo's squad. Team Isaac won with 52.5% of the votes. But what was the storyline of this was that Team Alita, the Alita's army, completely bailed on Leo's squad.
They just said fuck that. They said fuck that.
It was so funny because, 500 some votes in the first round, and then you see Leo like, quote, "I love you, Leo." But it was they absolutely just said, we're all in and we're all out. And it was just really, really funny to watch. What's your quick take on this one, though?
Really quick. No offense to Isaac. He's a cool dude. I appreciate some of his takes, but I honestly thought he probably had the worst draft. He probably had like the weakest team in my opinion. No offense to
Shots
Batman
fired.
89. And no offense to Batman 89. I love Michael Keaton, Tim Burton, Jack Nicholson, but one of the reasons why I took Returns is because I don't think Batman belonged in that first round at all. It's a groundbreaking comic book film, but I don't think it belonged in the first round. Same with Spider-Man. I think he reached on both of those, and he probably could have got better movies at those spots. I would say the one thing that carries his team is Civil War, which is a super underrated flick in my opinion. I feel like a lot of people bash it more than they praise it. I don't want to get too deep into all the themes and stuff like that, but I think Civil War was hitting on some stuff that the MCU at that point in time had never seen before.
Right.
Going back to Leo's team really quick, I don't know what happened, but you called it, Dives. Like his army just bailed on him, and I wouldn't say the fans got it right. I still think he has a better team. especially I take Incredibles 1 over Incredibles 2. I would take Scott Pilgrim over Spider-Man 3 and what is it? So I think the fans actually got this wrong, but I mean, without the elite army, man, I don't know how Leo was going to win. So,
All right, go ahead, Bat Nipples.
No, yeah, I think we were all taken back a little bit when Isaac chose Batman 89 as his first pick. I sure as shit was because I enjoy it. I really like Michael Keaton. I would give it like a 7. I don't agree with the choices that Burton made or whoever wrote the script for the Joker character. Spider-Man, pretty hot flick. I would give it like an 8, 8.5. Civil War, 9. Incredibles 2, I think people will say is either equal to The Incredibles or below it. I don't really think anyone thinks it's better than The Incredibles. So I think it's like right around the same, maybe a little bit less, in my opinion. And then Spider-Man 3 is my least favorite Spider-Man film. Yes, over Amazing Spider-Man 2. I think it's hot garbage. It's super inconsistent and just fucking awful. I watched it like a few weeks ago. And yeah, I think they got it wrong. Team Leo all the way. Spider-Man 2 is way superior. Incredibles is superior. Shazam is superior than mostly everything other than Civil War. Scott Pilgrim is one of the most underrated fucking films of all time. And yeah, Alita Battle Angel Army really screwed Leo here. Sorry, man. But yeah, I definitely think that the people got this one wrong.
Go ahead, Gabe.
I think disagreeing with you guys. I think Isaac's team is way more solid. I think the first 4 are really, really, really great movies, really great picks. Like I like all the films in his draft except for Spider-Man 3, which I think most people don't like. I talked about Leo's already. I mean, the fact that he has a lead just like makes me a bit angry. But in just quickly in defense of Batman 89, I think many of us, and I count myself in there, because probably Batman 89 is the movie I've rewatched the most in my life. Like the VHS, box is all messed up because I kept rewatching it, and I think it's brought down by the fact that we've had so many superior Batman movies that it feels like it's not as good, but its tone and its legacy to the genre is just really commendable, and it has so many things that work so well. So I mean, yeah, for me, the fans got it right for sure.
All right, for me, the fans got it wrong. I think Team Leo should have advanced. What about you, Lo?
I think the fans got it wrong.
Bat Nipples.
Fans got it wrong.
All right, let's move on. Where are we at here? Oh, that's the wrong one. All right, here we go.
Oh, this was not going to be controversial.
All right, here we go.
So my God, Amanda's draft. My God.
Here we go. We got Team Amanda versus Team AJ. Team Amanda had Captain America: The Winter Soldier. I give it a 10, bumped up to 11. That is hands down my favorite MCU movie. Batman versus Superman 6 bumped down to a 5. I thought that was a terrible selection. Then I bumped that up to a 9, realizing that, holy shit, that has a cult following. And I think Amanda was pinpoint on that. Ant-Man, I give it a solid 8. Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey, solid 8.5. Love that movie. And Venom, I give it an 8. So I gave Team Amanda a solid B+. Personally, I thought, AJ had the better squad here. So this was a surprise to me. Team Amanda took the W, 64.5% of the vote. So this was just, for me, a surprise. What about you, Lo?
In terms of films, just straight films, I think AJ had the better films. But, am I right or wrong to say that Amanda's teams are more popular? Like, she was smart. She knew that BVS and Venom had an audience. And,
right.
I love that she just threw Ant-Man in there for the hell of it. It's definitely underrated. Birds of Prey, look, no offense to all the Harley Quinn lovers out there. It wasn't even on my board. And don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it. I like Margot Robbie, but Birds of Prey wasn't even on my board. Winter Soldier is a good pick. It's a good, solid pick. It's a foundational piece for her team. I think overall, her team is just more popular, if that makes sense, between Harley Quinn, Venom, and BVS alone. And I will say the Ultimate Edition is a lot better than the theatrical cut, but yeah, I guess in a way the fans got it right. I guess that's what they like. But I think AJ had the better films.
I fully agree with that. And you can't tell me that nearly 2/3 of the people think those are better films. That's just my opinion. But I think Amanda was kind of next level thinking here. What about you, Ryan?
I'm gonna try not coming after her life right now, but I
Do
think
do it,
bro.
Go for it. Yes.
Captain America, Winter Soldier,
Within 2
straight
minutes.
fire, 9 out of 10. Batman v Superman. If we're talking about Ultimate Edition, 5 out of 10. But if it's a theatrical, 3 out of 10. Ant-Man, one of the most underrated MCU films of my life, 7 out of 10. Harley Quinn, and just Harley Quinn because the Birds of Prey barely existed in this film, straight 6 out of 10. Venom, bro, straight 5 out of 10. AJ, you got the goods, man. But I think the biggest thing is Amanda's got the more rewatchable list than AJ does, because I don't find myself wanting to rewatch Joker, Black Panther, Snowpiercer, or The Dark Knight Returns. I would much rather watch fucking Ant-Man over again, The Winter Soldier over again, and hell, if Harley Quinn's free like it is on HBO Max in August, guys, I would rather rewatch that than some of the other films just because they're fun. But script-wise, I think she's got a worse list, and AJ's got a better list when it comes to just how the movie itself is made. But if we're going off of rewatchability, I would say Amanda has the better list. But the fans got it motherfucking wrong. Yeah.
Go ahead, Gabe.
I don't like any of these lists, so I'll just start off there. I think, like, out of Amanda's picks, I only really like Winter Soldier. I guess I really like Bears of Prey too. But I wouldn't have. I'm like Loretto. I wouldn't have picked it on my list at all, like never. But it's fine. I already talked about AJ's picks, but the fact that he has Joker there, which to me just represents everything that's wrong with pop culture in 2019 and 2020. I voted for Amanda, and I hate Venom, but whatever. The fans got it right.
That's fair. That's fine.
Dookie.
Right.
It's like getting to pick like between two bad choices. What do you do? That's what I did.
All right. Did the fans get it right? No. I voted for Team AJ. I think the fans got this one wrong. What about you, Lo?
I will say no, but hats off to Amanda for her strategy choices. She had a good strategy.
Absolutely. What about you, Ryan?
All right, so I'm going to go 50-50 on this one. If I had to rewatch any of these films, I'd go with Amanda's list. But the better list, AJ. So technically the fans got it wrong, but if it was rewatchable, she got it right.
All right, then we get to Team Loretto versus Team Dives. The Suit Up podcast goes mano y mano. Loretto had Avengers Infinity War, obviously a 10. That is just such a great film. Batman Returns, X-Men of 2000, Big Hero 6, 300 versus My Squad. And I think any conversation about this has to begin with the fact that simultaneously I was doing a NBA draft. One of these similar, we're talking about best starting 5 lineups. And I was going against my co-host for my other podcast at the same time. And I lose to Loretto, 51.3%. Loretto got the total votes. And on the other podcast, I lost by 51%. Like less than 3%, I lost both drafts. So here we are. What was your quick take on this, Loretto?
Hey, real quick, I'm going into the confessional right now. I didn't think I had a chance. I thought I was gonna get mocked. And no offense to like the films that I picked, I actually like my team, but I'm not gonna lie. With X-Men and Big Hero 6 a little bit, it was a little bit of a panic pick and more out of necessity. The way that Dives says his films reflect who he is, I wish I could have said the same, but around the area I got X-Men, I wanted Scott Pilgrim, I wanted Incredibles, same thing for Big Hero 6. Like that wasn't my top choices. I was working with what I got, but personally I did want some diversity. I easily could have added another MCU picture or added something like Deadpool 2. But out of necessity, I went Big Hero 6, and I don't regret it. But again, I think that's a definitely underrated, less talked about film. I didn't think I had the more popular films, and I'm surprised I won. I was sweating. I saw the results like go back and forth. I was like, oh, what's going on? So thank you to everybody that voted. Holy crap, what an upset.
I mean, if there's anyone to take me down, I'm glad it was you, Loretto. Go ahead, Ryan.
Nah, definitely. I'm still mad at Loretto for picking Infinity War because I know this guy fucking knows that is my most loved film of all time. And I
He's
know
still
when he
salty.
picked it in his soul, he knew he was ripping me in half. I just knew it. Like he was taking me and just going, bye, bitch. And bro, I was so mad when he picked it. So mad. But obviously, Avengers Infinity War, solid choice. By the way, Gabe, 10 out of 10. Come at me.
Which one? Infinity War?
That's his first
Yes.
10.
Yes. Infinity War is like
Finally,
very
finally.
few 10 out of 10s for me. I'm sorry.
You know what? You know what would be ironic if you had picked before Loretto and you still hadn't picked Infinity War.
No, dude, that was gonna be my first pick no matter what. But
Fair enough.
Batman Returns is obviously the superior Burton film, Batman films. X-Men, great pick. Well, people love it. But I feel the same way you did, Lo. The bottom two picks are where it got a little iffy. Not for me personally, but like for people voting. I feel like a lot of people have not seen Big Hero 6. And I feel like a lot of people still haven't seen 300 that much. So
what?
Yeah.
Everybody saw that movie.
Well, I don't see.
Were you born yet?
Yeah.
When
Well,
it came out?
what, like 2007, right?
I don't know.
Yeah. But how often do you see people bring up 300 nowadays?
They usually don't.
I agree.
Exactly.
I
They
agree.
usually
I
don't.
agree.
If this was out when like the movie was still a little relevant, I could see a lot of people picking it. But Logan, Batman Begins, Wonder Woman, they're much more prominent nowadays than those lower halves were. And I'm not gonna lie, I voted Deebs, I voted Chris, simply because I thought Big Hero 6 was a great film. A little iffy on 300. Batman Returns is a good film, but not pristine. I'm still not the biggest fan of the Burton films, but not pristine. But Avengers Infinity War, I felt like really pushed you up there with the mid to a little bit higher tier type hero films.
I think you're right on it because what we saw were the top 4 seeds in this freaking draft advanced to the final 4. That's a fact. So go ahead, Gabe. What's your quick take on this matchup?
Yeah, I really like Loretto's team. Like I think I like all those movies. The only one that I would consider like one of my favorite movies is Infinity War. But Batman Returns, I mean, I love it. X-Men, I've spent the last 3 days praising it on Twitter. I think it's also really, really great. Big Hero 6 is, also good. 300, you're right. It hasn't it was a product of its time. It was cool, the coolest thing ever when it came out, and right now people don't talk about it that much. And I recently wrote an article for Geekly Goods where I recommended rewatching 300 Part 2, which is 300 Rise of an Empire. And it's also pretty solid. Yeah, I mean, it's so I like your picks. I mean, I've said what I think about Chris's team too. Sorry already. So yeah, I mean, I think the fans got it right. If I were to compare Loretta's team to anybody else's, it would be to Todd's team. I think they were both like movies that you're like, yeah, this is a good movie. Like, sure, why not? And yeah, agreed.
All right. So I think obviously the fans got this one wrong. No, I'm just kidding. All right. What about you, Lo? Did the fans get this one right?
Honestly, I thought you had the better team between Batman Begins and Hellboy 2, which is one of my like near and dear to my heart, and Logan. I thought you had the better team, and I can't believe I won. So yay! Thank you guys.
Go ahead.
Don't say that. Well, you're gonna play the next round. You're too nice, Loretto.
I'm gonna hit you guys with a hot one real quick. I'm gonna go in the middle. I'm gonna go in the middle.
Okay.
You did that last time. You apologized.
No, I didn't. I didn't go middle last time.
You said
he's gonna give us this and that. Okay, I got it.
Because you guys both have really solid picks. So for me, it was really hard to choose. I think I did choose Deebs just because I had to vote for someone. I would say out of all of them, these two teams right here are definitely the most together ones, if that makes sense. It's really hard to choose. You both have really solid picks between the two. And honestly, I feel like it just comes down to the person's preference at the end of the day for this one, more so than the other ones.
I think reflecting on this, I wish I had like an OG in here. You know, it just if I had an older movie, maybe I could have got a popular fan vote. Who knows? All right, but anyway, what we're gonna do now is we're gonna talk about the final four here coming up. We're gonna release the polls probably tomorrow now because it's taking a lot longer than I thought it would. But here we go.
Hey, you're a busy man. Got stuff to take care of, man.
Yeah, man. All right, so a final four. Make sure you follow the Suit Up podcast on Twitter, and that is at Suit Up TPL. We're going to release the final four coming up here within the next 12 hours. Let me pull this up here. Bear with me. And we're gonna kind of real quick. We're gonna wrap this up. What do you think is the best? Who's going to the championship round? We have Team Gabe versus Team Isaac on the left bracket, and we have Team Amanda versus Team Loretto on the right bracket. Gabe, what is your gut feeling going into this final four matchup?
I mean, I would like to say that I will make it to the final. Duh. And it's weird because I want to say that I would be really surprised if Amanda makes it. But also, she's made it this far, so what do I know? She has movies that the fans of those movies really love them, which is like Birds of Prey and BVS. So who knows? I think Loretto's picks are superior, but if I had to guess, I would say Loretto against me.
All right. What about you, Loretto? What's your gut feeling?
I already said this earlier. I thought Isaac had the weakest team. No offense, Isaac. I don't see how Gabe loses that one, especially with the Dark Knight. I mean, that's just going to carry him through. I honestly think I have the better films, kind of like what Gabe was saying. But if it's a popularity contest, man, I'm probably going to get blown out of the water. So, DC fans, MCU fans, Frank Miller fans, vote for me. But it might be Amanda and Gabe, I think.
What about you, Ryan?
Yeah, I think Gabe is just going to blow Isaac out of the water. I feel like Isaac got a little bit help from being put in the second bracket already. I felt like he might not have made it past the first one if he was put there. But I think Gabe is definitely going to blow Isaac out of the water. No question about it if I'm wrong, which we were all wrong with the Leo and Todd one, but that's besides the point. The Loretto and Amanda one is really hard. Loretto, you've got the better pick, but Amanda's got the fan base. The Birds of Prey fans are hardcore. The BVS fans are hardcore. The Winter Soldier fans are hardcore, man. I don't want to say it, but I think Amanda's going to go on, but I want Loretto to go on because he's got the better picks, but she's got the fans.
Thanks, man.
Love it. All right, so make sure you check out the Suit Up podcast on Twitter at SuitUpTPL. For everyone here, Loretto, what do you got going on at Movies Matrix right now, man?
All right, today is Wednesday. I dropped my latest Remember Wednesday piece chronicling the long development hell of Freddy versus Jason. Horror fans, stand up, check it out. Let me know what you thought, if the piece was good or great, or did I get everything right. Personally, I love the horror genre. It was definitely a love letter for me to those films. And we also have a huge slate of DC-related material as we gear up for DC fandom. So DC fans, go to moviesmatrix.com.
All right, Ryan, where can we find you?
You guys can always find me at Movie Matrix, geekily good. Geeky goods.
My God, Ryan. My God, Ryan.
You guys can always check me out at my channel at The Geek Fix. There's a lot of geek tonight, but I got a very cool project of Why I Love Palm Springs coming up this week or next week, depending on how lazy I am. And then Movie Matrix, guys, stay tuned for August because we got some big things planned for DC fandom. Loretto knows about them. We got a secret project working on for you guys. It's going to be fucking awesome, so go and check those out.
Go ahead, Gabe. Where can we find you, man?
You can find me at filmopinionitis.com. I posted 2 articles this week for the first time in the history of my site. I was able to write a lot during the weekend. One is about a documentary called Bombshells and Dollies, which is pretty good, highly recommendable. And the other one is probably, if not my the favorite article of mine that I've ever written, or it's at least in my top 3. It's a review of the book, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which is a prequel to The Hunger Games. I really recommend reading my article and reading the book because it has a lot more depth than you would have expected from a young adult novel, and I really enjoyed writing it. And I mean, definitely recommend. So check me out there. I'm also on Geekly Goods. I have an article coming Friday with a watch list. It's going to be with movies that you probably haven't seen or you probably haven't seen in a while, which is what I try to do with these bi-weekly articles. So check that out Friday.
Venom is on the list, by the way, people.
All right, guys.
Maybe.
All right, guys.
No, thank you.
Save it for another pod. For Loretto, for Gabe, for myself, for the Bat Nipples. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Peace out.
I am Iron Man.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
I want you to remember the one man who beat you.
The Force will be with you. Always.
A king's time as ruler rises and falls like the sun.
I can do this all day. What's but a smile on that face?
That's my secret, Cat. I'm always angry.